you today from the beautiful city of Trier in South Germany, Southwest Germany. Let me check the connection. Are we there? Are we there? Please write me where are you from and what's your language challenge. Let me see. Is there a connection? Will be fantastic. Alright, I see. Yes, we have the connection. Alright, thank you very much. So in the meantime, please don't be afraid to ask questions. I am really interested to hear your first of all, where are you from and your language challenge. What is your language challenge for now? Let me straighten a little bit camera. All right, and what we'll be talking about today, that will be, in general, the title is Too Much Grammar, Not Enough Language. The mistake that blocks you from fluency. Yes, so that's in general would be my approach I had to the language from the beginning. Approach and also the attitude I took for learning the language. So that I didn't want to be blocked by the grammatic stuff, because I would recommend always you do not start with grammar. Start with actually with what actually brings you create the progress. Why grammar at the beginning often hurts more than helps. So that's why I made this webinar, and I'm actually talking a lot about this on this channel. All right. So grammar is grammar killing you? Learn one important rule. Main idea is it is not that grammar is unimportant. It's not that the grammar is unimportant. It is that at the beginning it should not be in the center of learning. Yeah. So if we had here grammar, it should not be in the center of the language. Rather, it should be just one of the things that we are learning, part of the learning, but really one part of the learning, not in the center. And I get to the point of this. Why is it so important? First, you need to build the contact with the language and understanding and listening. Get familiarized with language, with single sentences, and have a courage to speak. Grammar should help, but not dominate the learning. Most of the people start learning language from the wrong side, from wrong approach. Instead of entering the language, entering inside the language, they begin by analyzing the language like a mathematics, like a math, really. Like it's a set of rules, that there is a rules, unbreakable rules, which have to go one by one, are unnegotiable, as in mathematics or physics, and we have to build through them to go to the result, or to closer to the result, to prove something. And instead of entering the language, like in the mathematics approach, we should actually try to move to flow with it. Yeah. The result of putting this as a rule, as artificial rule, is that in our head that is very that we have a lot of set of rules in the head, but very little speaking, well, in our mouth. Yeah. The main thesis of this webinar is that at the beginning, learn only as much grammar as you need to get moving in the language, step by step, no more. And the grammar will be your companion in next phases of the language as you get along. And I tell you something, I'm speaking from my heart because this is what I personally recommend for learning. I tell you that I'm personally more mathematic head, I'm more like structurized head in general. I was much better in mathematics than in the languages. I didn't have any talent in languages in my life, and learning English, which took me 10 years actually to be communicative, proved that. Learning German, which was the worst subject in my primary school, or the worst, also proved that I didn't have language talent. So I'm challenging myself. But later, when I started to learn German very quickly, and then Spanish very quickly, and now my language challenge in French is now less than half a year. I'm now 5.5 months in learning French. I'm doing good. I hope I will brag a little bit on the next webinars about it. But I'm more or less mathematical person. I love Excel, I love calculating. I'm a business person, by the way. If you can see, there is a book about the business which I wrote. There is my presence also in the businesses, and then it requires a lot of calculation also, and this is my thing. But in language, I know that it doesn't work. And now, myself, being more mathematic, I know that it's not a set of rules are judging or deciding if I will be successful in learning language or not. Yeah. I tell you an example. If you feel that grammar is exhausting for you, is blocking you, or is taking away your desire to learn, it may be that the problem is not the language at all, but the wrong order of learning. The problem why people get stuck in grammar, they want to speak correctly. They want to speak correctly before they start speaking at all. They are afraid of making mistakes. School taught them that language is mostly about rules. They feel that without full grammar, they are not allowed to move forward. This is where it's worth saying clearly. You can know a lot about the grammar and still not speak. So look, you can really learn a lot about grammar and spend on it 2 years, 3 years, and really even not starting speaking. And I know people like that. People who were all the time concentrating on that they wanted to speak correctly, to know the structure of grammar before they started to speak. And only some of them were touched by a reality where they had to start speaking, like if their boss asked them to present something in foreign language. So then they had to rapidly started to learn to speak, and then they saw that actually the grammar may be useful, but the speaking is much more useful. You can speak simply in one language with mistake and still communicate in the real way, real language. Simply and with mistake and still communication. I give you an example. Just try to listen normal English speaking person somewhere in the movie, but not like, not very official, political, or about the kingdom or something. It's more like street English. You will notice that people are there that are not speaking correctly. The native speakers are not speaking correctly. And with this, you'll see that it's actually there's no point to learn to speak language correctly if even native speakers are not speaking correctly. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, with this, yeah, fluency is not it's not born from analyzing and being all the time correctly. It is from using. It's coming from using the language. That's why I'm saying it's more like we're using. It's it's a flow. I give you an example. Uh, or let's say another thing. So important is that at the beginning learn only as much grammar as you need to create like this simple useful sentences. Uh, because in the beginning I can give you an example. Mm, Learning all the time the rules of grammar is like really about learning how to ride a bicycle. Yeah, how to ride a bicycle. You can read 10 books about how to ride a bicycle. You can watch the video, the YouTube tutorial, how to ride a bicycle, how to keep the balance. You have to rotate there with your legs, push on the pedals, and you have to find the balance. You can find the balance with your body and also with the steering bar. And with this, you can read a lot. But unless you try to really ride a bike, it's really just a pure theory. And with learning language, it's really the same. Yeah? And if you are learning all the time, only in theory, it's far away from real using the language. And as you see, it's absolutely not practical to staying in the theory zone. Like with the language, it's absolutely with the bicycle. Like with language, it's the bicycle. Staying in the theoretical zone makes no sense at all. Like to learn how to swim, you can read so much about swimming. Unless you will go to the water and try to swim, it really makes no sense at all to even read about it. I mean, you can read for half an hour and that's it. And that's it. And the rest is to try to swim. I give you another example for example, with the bicycle. Look, you don't have to speak correctly. I say again. Look, to ride a bike, you theoretically sit on the bicycle, move the head, you push it with your feet, the pedals on the pedals, rotate it, keep a bar, and try to move forward. But from time to time, in the beginning especially, you use a leg. As a child also, or somebody can learn ride a bicycle when he's adult. You use your legs sometimes to support yourself. Yeah, sometimes you get in the hole and you have to support yourself with the leg, or hold yourself next to the tree or to the wall so you're not fall down. And that's with languages. You also, in the beginning, you can support yourself with some, gesture. Yes, no, or with showing. I mean this. Quiero decir sobre eso. Quiero comprar eso. Ich will das kaufen. Ich will das zeigen. Ich wollte über das fragen. Je vous parler. My French is still in the starting phase. I'll be good. But anyway, so also you can support yourself with the legs, with arms, and the same you can in language. You don't have to speak correctly with the grammar, because you can be fluent and support yourself with the gestures, face expressions, and so on. At the beginning, learn just as much, only as less as you need, but just to create simple sentences. Yeah, that means that you do not learn everything. Yeah, don't aim to learn everything. You don't want to try to master the whole language system right away. Yeah, don't do it. You take only what allows you to understand and say a little bit more than one day before. First, the language should be usable. Other things can wait for later, like grammar. Because when your language is not usable and you are not using this every day, with this you can also lose the willingness to move forward with the language. You can lose the willingness to even to learn, because that's you want to learn, but then if you will be all the time stuck in theory, and also you will not have a pleasure of speaking, being happy and being proud that you can speak something in a language, then you can lose energy to move forward. And this is how we have a lot of people stop learning, when they stop learning language. Yeah. What should matter more than grammar at the beginning is that there are several points which should matter the most. I tell you something. First is words. The words, the language is built from the words, and the words are much more important than grammar, because with the words you can speak what you're on about. You can say pen, or mobile phone, or table, or light, or door, or window, and you don't need grammar for this. Yeah, the most frequently used words, especially. Yeah. 2. Ready-made simple sentences and structures. Simple sentences. This is much more important than the grammar. Really. And with words and simple sentences, I recommend to learn them. What are the simple sentences? It is, for example, I think that, I don't understand. Can you repeat? In my opinion. I need, I want to, I can, I would like to. Those are so simple. And these simple short sentences you can memorize, the same like the most important words. And with this, it's much more important than the grammar, because this can allow you to flow with the language, and that's it. Yeah. Other thing, listening and getting used to the sound. Listening is much more important than grammar. What's the point of reading all the time about the grammar if you cannot understand what is being said to you? Yeah, you need to hear the language before you start speaking more naturally. So you need to know what language sounds like, so you can understand. And when you'll see it, you will see it progressing with learning. When you speak it, no, when you hear it more and more, you will start to divide the sentence, divide the sounds to the words, divide the sounds and words to sentences. And this is how it starts to hear the flow. It's only beginning, but it's really something. And when you see them, why is the difference? Because when you see just a text in the book, you learn in theory, you see the text with your eyes, and you know which word is there. But when listening, but the real life is listening. It's not talking, it's not reading, unfortunately, and writing. These days, unfortunately, you can replace it very easy with just translating this on Google Translate or ChatGPT. Yeah, so absolutely it's changed. Yeah, that's why listening is so important. Speaking is another one. Speaking from beginning, especially from the beginning. Otherwise, speaking from the beginning is the key from your part to show that you understand and can start to communicate. Even speaking simply, speaking imperfectly, even with short sentences. Yes, even with this, it's still correct. And as you see, grammar is behind it. And this is behind, and I really feel that this is, that the order is really like this, that the words are the most important, and the sentences, and the listening, and of course speaking, and there is a grammar. Maybe there are other things, but really, grammar is far away from being the most important in learning. Yeah? And this is what grammar is still worth. There is some grammar you still worth to learn. It's good to see that there is a balance, yeah, but I want to underline really there's much more important things there before use in the learning than grammar, just to put it also in this order. Because at the beginning it's not enough to focus on grammar, because it will stop you. Sentences, basic sentences, structures, really 3 times, yeah? I mean, present time, one simple past time, one simple future time, and it will, the most important words, verbs, questions, some negations, yeah, how to say no, and so on. That's the much more important things than just grammar, yeah. You don't need the whole grammar system right away. You need a minimum, just a little minimum of this to start communicating. I said something else. Really, I can put it into how much time we should divide for grammar and for rest. It's really, in my opinion, like 80% should be to those things and 20% to the grammar. Really, starting from, the rule, Vilfredo Pareto, 80-20. That's the one. Really, 80% of your time in learning should be to word simple sentences. By the way, we learn usually aloud, speaking aloud, yeah? Listening and speaking. Ideally, even simply from the beginning, that's much more important than grammar, yeah? That's really, yeah? I can give you an example. I mean, truly, there can be person A, let's say, who is studying verbs all the time, analyzing rules, doing the exercise, to enter the word in the missing words or something, or they knows the theory, or doing exercises, yeah, but is afraid all the time from speaking because it's not ready. And then we can be second person who's got a little bit more courage, more big balls, and they just wanted no fewer about the rules, but listens every day, for example, things which is interested in, for example, cooking, or traveling, or history, or geography, or nature, or cars, on this matter. And with this, is getting aware of the new words in this language, and listening every day, or use simple sentences. I'm talking really simple sentences, or sends voice messages, of course, yeah, and builds a real contact with the language. And I can guarantee you that after few months, the second person will be further away in communication and will be still learning the language. The first person, which is studying all the time in preparing and analyzing, will be all the time in the same moment and will be far away, theoretically preparing to be ready, building the base. We say building a base, unfortunately. It's just building the procrastination to start. All right, how to apply the rule in practice? Learning is really, well, in practice it's like this. Yeah? And I will tell you something else. It's really 20% grammar, like, only grammar that you need. And the listening, reading, conversating, making sentences, actively speaking, creating your own short sentences, that's much more important. And by the way, I wouldn't mind if you will change it to 90% and 10%. Because personally, I'm closer to even to this. I'm pushing much more. From my all the time learning experience, I'm pushing much more, 90% to learning exercises from like this, learning from practice than from theory. Really. Look, that's really just to sum up. Yeah, grammar should help you, but not paralyze you, and not stop you. At the beginning, less often means grammar means really better for you, because you should be more aware about the words and listening, to know how to pronounce it. But doesn't have to be perfect, really. Simple sentences and speaking to try your speaking out is much more important. And do not learn the language like theory to the exam. Do not learn it like learning to ride a bike from the book. Just get on the bike and learn it. Really. Do not let grammar stop you from entering to the real language. First, start using this, then improve it step by step. Listen, thank you very much. I hope it helped you somehow. I hope it will also motivate you. And you can share in the comment, please, what's your impression about it. Would you like to find out more about the ways of I use for learning, for challenging myself to learn more? Has grammar helped you more, maybe, or blocked you in the end? So really, I welcome you also to the to webinars. Every Wednesday I make it at 8 p.m. Central European Time, and I hope it was useful for you. I hope it will be useful also for somebody else. Please subscribe if you didn't do it before. Please like it, or send also to somebody who can also profit from knowing on which should focus on before starting to learn, just to be really focused on the real things which will bring the result. And I will be really happy to answer also your question in the comments. So please write if you have any questions, and watch my videos, short videos. I throw there a lot of tips also how to learn, and I welcome you also. Let's see each other to the next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central European Time, where I will be touching another subject about learning. So thanks a lot, and see you next time.